This is Lagos, seen through the eyes of its waste pickers. A city where trash becomes treasure, where resilience reigns, and where hope rises from the ashes. This is their story, and it is just beginning. This story is about the livelihood of waste pickers in Lagos State, the unsung heroes of the recycling value chain, who risk a lot of challenges to ensure that our environment is safe for all. Waste pickers predominantly found in developing countries like Nigeria. They operate as self-employed individuals who collect, sort, and sell recyclable materials from the streets, open dumps, or landfills to earn a living.
I'm into waste picking, while some people call waste collection and some other call it baller boys. We are the one that collects recyclable waste, the solid waste.
So àwọn waste táwọn mọ́tò yẹn bá dà sílẹ̀, that is what we pick. So we used to pick plastic, sometimes we pick PET. That is what we are doing here. Ìjọ kò tíjọ́ tèmi ò kí ń kókè. Bá dẹ̀ rí tí venue wà, máa lọ sí venue, máa gbápò. Mo ń tijú, máa dẹ̀ kú, máa kú wálé, máa separate ẹ̀, máa ṣe, máa èyí tí máa fọ̀, èyí tí máa kó sẹ́gbẹ́ kan, máa kó sẹ́gbẹ́ kan.
Na zo daga Yobe neman kuɗi, a abatuwa na fara neman kuɗi. Irin rusau ɗin nan ne tashe mu sai muka dawo nan. Muka taso muka dawo nan neman kuɗi.
Sunana Sani Umar, na zo daga Katsina zuwa Lagos. Mun zo muna neman abinci ne, sannan muka dawo nan. Muna da ta continue ne na abin da muke nema. Muna fita karfe 7 na safe zuwa 8. Za mu je a kuce zuwa Ishashi haka abin da ya wajen Bega za mu je mu nemo roba. Zo mun dawo karfe 2 haka za mu yi salatin mu auna. Za mu auna kuma abin da muka samu shine za mu yi amfani da shi mu ci abinci, mu taimaki kanmu kuma taimaki iyayenmu da ke gida. Dan abin da muka tara zuwa gida za mu je za mu yi noma, za mu yi amfani da shi wajen ci gaban rayuwarmu.
They contribute significantly to recycling efforts and environmental sustainability. And they are a crucial link between waste generation and the recycling industry.
A lot of businesses, a lot of outposts in low-income communities, because we find that these are the people that live in hard-to-reach areas, and it's quite difficult for them to properly dispose of the waste that they generate. So engaging in recycling activities helps them keep the environment clean and at the same time make some money while doing that.
When they realized that this waste that was actually a problem for them, that was clogging their drainages and making them ill, could actually be turned into something of value, they really became really prolific waste collectors.
Wash around now before, you see that the whole place was littered with plastic, that is bottled water, nylon, carton paper and also. But now, because of us, it's not like that again. Our boys go around to collect it, and we use it for recycling.
Torí tẹ́ bá rí tójò bá rọ̀, páàkì ike, nylon pure water, nylon bottled water, àwọn ló máa ń sábà kún kọ́tà. Bẹ̀tí ìsìn, kẹ́ tó lè rí ike tó bá kúnnú kọ́tà, bóyá òjò rọ̀ ó páàkì gbogbo ẹ̀ wá. Kí ilé ọjọ́ yẹn tó ṣú, tẹ́ bá máa padà débẹ̀ ní bá ń bẹ̀ mú. Torí wọ́n ti kó everything sí ẹ̀ níbà. So ìrànlọ́wọ́ tá máa ń jẹ fún àwọn ìjọba nìyẹn.
Now, the recycling industry is emerging in Africa and Nigeria, and this sector offers employment opportunities to many people like myself who studied environmental management, and I've always been interested in climate change since I was a teenager. Apart from people like me that studied environmental management, the sector also offers opportunities to people in finance, logistics, data analysis, business administrations, and many more. And this whole sector starts with waste pickers. When you look at the ecosystem, you'll be able to identify that there are different players in the value chain. And when you look at bottom up, the waste pickers play a very critical role. I would normally say that the
contribute at least 70% of the effort that goes into the ecosystem.
Without us, there's no recycling. We are the downstream of waste recycling value chain. Without us giving the factory the material, they cannot have the material. None of them will go to the street to pick up from the dump site.
It is very critical that we invest in that, because when you invest at the bottom of the value chain, it also determines what you get at the top of the value chain. At the end of the day, what do we want to achieve? We say we want to close the loop, we want to achieve circular economy, we want to have quality material out of the recycled product. We want to also create a market for recycled product. In order to create a market for recycled product, we have to also start looking at the gaps in each part of the value chain and how do we plug in infrastructure, plug in support, provide funding to be able to drive one aspect of the value chain to the next one. Because the quality of the material that the waste pickers collect or recover goes into the next stage, which is either the collectors or the aggregators.
Bá ti jí láàárọ̀ báyìí, màá kọ́kọ́ lọ ṣe àyíké, màá kọ́kọ́ lọ sáwọn hòtẹ́ẹ̀lì tí mo ti máa ń kó, màá lọ sí hòtẹ́ẹ̀lì, màá lọ sí school. Àwọn mọ́là kọ̀ọ̀kan máa gbé wá fún mi, èmi náà máa ṣe káàkiri àdúgbò.
Ina fita aiki ko gwada a nan nake aiki. A nan nake aiki siya nake yi, ina siyarwa.
And then that determines the quality of the material that is processed or pre-processed for recycling. And if you look at a material like PET, we want that PET waste material to go back into production. And that's what we call ROPET. So the quality of the ROPET, especially for food grade application, is very critical. We have standards that this material has to meet up to. And for them to be able to meet up to that, we need to start separating at the source segregation, have that quality material that is picked directly by the waste pickers or the collectors, because at the end of the day, it's going to determine the kind of quality of material or recycled product we have.
So in terms of environmental sustainability, we generate 14,000 tons a day of waste in Lagos. And right now we're only recycling 8% of that. And we need to improve and increase that recycling rate drastically, simply because we are disposing waste in an unsustainable manner in the landfills, which are almost full now. And we need to close them. We need to decommission Olusoso and Solus. So part of the plan that even if we decommission them and open a new sanitary landfill, we still have to reduce drastically how much waste we're taking there. And so the sustainability aspect comes in ensuring that we're not burying useful items that can be recycled, that can be reused for other purposes in the landfill. And that cuts across from, it's not just the plastics. You know, when we're talking about waste pickers, they're not only picking plastic. There's also cans, there's also paper and cardboard, there's glass, there's all kinds of materials that, you know, we've done characterization, we have an idea of how much material is available. So the waste pickers are extremely valuable in that value chain because we need to be able to move. It's a logistical problem. We need to be able to move the material to where it's going to be used. Otherwise, from the household, if it's not evacuated by the PSP operator or the person is evading paying the PSP operators, they go and dump in the drainage channels or they dump on the roadside. You look at climate change, part of the problem is that we have a lot of illegal dump sites. We have our own dump sites. We're contributing a significant amount of to global greenhouse gases, which we have to reduce. So we can't afford to have these illegal dump sites. We can't afford to have waste in the drainage channels. So the waste pickers come in, like I said, because they're going to form the front line. They're going to interface directly with the household. They're going to establish relationships with the household where they're going to take the recyclables. So all that's left is what can't be recycled. And that's what the PSP operators can pick up to the dump site.
Let me take this opportunity to say thank you to the heroes of our recycling value chain. Despite these contributions, waste pickers face numerous challenges, including hazardous working conditions. Most times they work without PPEs, they lack formal recognition. People see them and they don't know that they're waste pickers. They call them all sorts of names. and as such, they face societal stigma. They are being called thieves. Sometimes things get missing in an environment, and everybody is shouting that it is the waste picker. Meanwhile, when the police arrest the waste picker and questioning and investigation takes place, they find out that it wasn't the waste picker who stole or who is the thief. They are not thieves. They are waste pickers doing their job to save our environment.
They don't have an organization, they are not under an umbrella, so they are not branded. The training they desire, they haven't gotten it. So because of that, waste pickers in Lagos especially have suffered a lot of harassment, intimidation. They call them all kinds of derogatory names.
Sometimes I feel bad, but at the same time I don't feel bad at times because I believe this is what I'm doing for a living. So if I should put myself inside shame, who will feed me and my daughter?
When we are carrying the bag of waka, I told you that some people that even pursue us, kakaka, we are running, say we be thief. Sometimes they go even catch us, beat us. They will carry and go to police. Sometimes you go there, police station 2 days. Your guy, you don't know, nobody know. And from there on, that even started looking for you up and down, they go come see you say for station. What do you do? Now because you are picking things, other community that been say this one thief, you give pursue, they'll catch you. Go police station.
Wannan muna neman taimako game da saboda game da wajen neman abinci mu muna ɗaukar karfe ko me zaka iya ka jira ni zaka je ko chemist ko sai su ce ba za su yi ba. Kamar irin dai barawo ne ma ko kaje sata ne ko dai makamancin haka wanda suke faɗa kenan muna roƙon gwamnati ta taimake mu akan haka saboda kaga wanda ke aikin karfe ko da yaushe yana cin kan hafa zaka iya jira wani ko kuma makamancin haka a taimake mu wajen allurai da treatment din kanmu.
Muna haɗuwa da ma'aikata suna challenge din mu ko kamar area boys yana challenge din muna haɗuwa da area boys da polisa duka suna challenge din mu da kai haka suna challenge din mu. Mun zo mun so abu mun fito muna tafiya za su tare mu a hanya su ce waye sai da muna dole sai mun gaya musu kuma har mu koma baya mu kai su inda muka siyo su tabbatar da sai muka yi sannan mu ɗauko mu dawo mu zo mu cike da abun mu a gida. To duka wayannan abubuwa dai suna faruwa da muwa sosai ba kaɗan ba.
No matter how you dress, no matter how fine you are, even if you bath and dress and come out, they see it as you're not safe. Yes.
They believe you are doing the dirty job.
Another thing is that if there's a uniform, you understand? If there's a uniform, recognition. They will recognize us. There may be an ID card for us. When we go out there, they will not just harass us.
Yeah.
They can recognize us through those things. I think that would too. And again, because of that, in some estates, it doesn't allow us to.
Yes.
But when we have that uniform,
So I think the future, the narrative around waste needs to change. In Nigeria, there's a stigma around waste. When we started Waste Cyclers, a lot of people didn't want to connect and engage with us because they thought it was demeaning. They thought that people that were collecting waste probably had mental problems or had no hope in life. We want to change that narrative. Let people know that you can actually be a waste picker, a waste worker, and it's a good and viable livelihood.
The first one is the mindset. A lot of people attack their mindset and they insult them, calling them very derogatory names. But what we have done for them, we've given them, clothes, similar clothes, like something like an ashoebi that all of us wear. And we stand in solidarity with them. So they don't look or feel a certain way when they're doing their jobs.
Nísìnyí ọmọ tèmi tí èmi gangan bí last born mi kò fẹ́ kí n ṣá bẹ̀tì mo ń yọ̀ ṣe ni mi ò lè gba ibi tó ń gbé tí bá ti gbà báyìí màá pẹ́ ọ̀dọ̀ ẹ̀lẹ̀ gbà báyìí ọgbọ́n ni mo fi ń ṣe.
We need the government or private individuals to help us. We need an overall. We need uniforms. Gone are those days when they say mechanics should not be in commuter or public buses with their dirty uniforms. So most mechanics, when you see them now, you see them in their overalls. So the same thing should happen to waste pickers.
We also need to be able to integrate them into the ecosystem. We also need to provide recognition for them. We have also been able to transform their name from scavengers or rogues or thieves 2 waste pickers today, but how can we even make that better? There are other ways to identify, just like you say, I'm an environmentalist, I'm a waste manager, I'm a doctor. You can also say, I work in the waste management sector, I am a waste picker. And then people recognize that this is a dignified job. And that's what we actually want to do.
It would be nice to also find a new name for waste pickers. I think maybe something like urban miners or something like that, because really that's what they're doing, urban mining. So we need to think of something to dignify the service they're providing to the society.
Waste picking has become like a normal job to some waste pickers. For some of them, it is a normal job that they go out every day, pick recyclables, sell to recyclers, and earn a living from it. Others just see it as something that they just do to pass time or add to other things that they do. But in all of this, do you think that there's a career path in this?
Many years has it been working as a waste picker?
Shakaraka nawa cikin wannan aiki. 8 years.
8 years.
It is interesting to know that some of these waste pickers take this waste picking as a job, like full-time job. They wake up in the morning, they go out to pick recyclables and sell to recyclers to earn a living.
It has really helped, you understand, because as they pick, they must move the waste from one point to another, you understand, or probably to where it be recycled. So it has really helped a lot to put food on the table of many.
They don't have any other thing that they are doing. That is what they depend on. So they make a lot of money from picking recyclables. Others take it as a side hustle, something that they are doing because they have time. I mean, recyclables are on the street, lying there, they don't have to pay money to buy it. They just pick and then make money from selling these recyclables. Although there are many challenges aligned with this type of profession, but some of them has really grown in waste picking.
Hello, aṣáájú ẹni tó ń ṣàkẹ́tọ́ pé kò ní iṣẹ́ míì tó ṣe ike ló fèsì tó dẹ̀ fi ń live.
I lost my parents through the school days. Nobody to help. My families are well okay, but they don't help. So what will I do? I have to hustle my life out. That is how I come to Lagos. I based in Ibadan before. I'm here living my life in Lagos now. Struggling continues.
You see, not all of them remain trapped in the circle of just picking and selling to recyclers or selling to aggregators. Their journey isn't just about survival. It's not just about getting money to eat or to take care of their children. It's about rising above, climbing the waste pyramid from picker to aggregator. Some people like Dauda have climbed the ladder, becoming aggregators, buying recyclables from other waste pickers and selling them in bulk. Now, he has employed other people, creating job opportunities for even more people.
I started from one baller to another. I'm picking small things. Begin to come here and see 1 naira, 2 naira. Now from there, I can learn how they're even selling iron and the copperware, aluminium. Now from there, I start small. I can get Oga. Oga, they give me money. I dey go buy am small. Ina zuwa ana sayowa, ana kawowa, ana bani kuɗi. Daga nan har they can open another portion for me. I put my own scale, so I can get my own boys too. Like 15 people, where then they carry baller can give me and I be scale them and give them money. So now go there Allah, and I thank God say I achieve many things for baller. I achieve many things for scrap dealer. I build house, I marry. Now I even get my 5 children. I even the plan to buy motor. After building my house.
Na kai shekara 10 ina wannan aikin. Yanzu kuma na samu abubuwa kamar na samu kuɗi dai haka, kuma na gina gida, na samu kuɗi na gina gida, sannan kuma har yanzu ina cikin yin aikin ban daina ba. Sannan na ga cigaba da yawa sosai, na samu cigaba da yawa sosai a wannan aiki da nake yi. Na kai tsawon shekara 10 ina yi, kuma har yanzu gashi ina ta yi ba mu daina ba. A nan garin Ekwe local government junction muna tare da mai gidanmu Oga Danjuma da Saifullahi, muna aiki a tare da suwa kuma har yanzu dai ba mu daina ba, muna nan muna ta yi.
Ike ṣíṣà yóò ti ràn mí lọ́wọ́ o, torí nínú ìdílé mi tí bá sọ wípé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni, tí bá sọ fún ọ wípé kíní kí ló dé tí ẹ ṣe, àǹtí mi owó ni, tí mo bá débẹ̀ I will do it, màá ṣe. Tá bá yín sọ pé owó náà dáńtà, owó lẹ́yìn retí, èló ni màá ṣe. Even ní kejì mi sọ pé bóyá àwọn Yahoo ló ń gbowó fún mi, náà àwọn Yahoo ò gbowó fún mi o. Ibi iṣẹ́ Ike yìí, even there was a time tí iléeṣẹ́ san owó fún mi with 500,000. Wọ́n believe.
I started when I was not married. It was in this job that I got married, have my children, train them, build my house, and do all nice things. So, waste picking, to me, is a job I would love to do over and over again.
I know one of my members who's now using plastic to do these tiles and even some bricks. They are using plastic. One of our members is doing that now.
They have been called different names, from scavengers to bola boys, waste pickers, among others. But that has not stopped them from moving forward, uniting their voices and forming associations like WAPAN and ASWO to give waste pickers a voice. They are demanding recognition and a place at the table.
What we do in WAPAN is we have waste pickers who over the time have been operating haphazardly. They don't have an organization, they are not under an umbrella. So what we are doing in WAPAN essentially is to make sure that we organize them, we train them, we brand them, and we try to bring them into the waste management of Lagos State. So we are having partnership with Loma, who is the recognized waste manager in Lagos. And we also have some other stakeholders too, FBRA, we have with the Coca-Cola Foundation and other organizations.
They are the starters. They deserve a place. They are not just waste pickers. They are waste managers. They are environmentalists. They are entrepreneurs. They deserve respect and a fair share in the recycling value chain. They are building bridges. They are connecting with policymakers. They know what they are doing, and they are connecting with NGOs and showing the world the strength and potential within their community.
When our members have problems, the boys on the street, there was no help from the association. They will arrest them, detain them, because in Lagos, I think 2009, they banned the informal waste picker in Lagos State. What brought that was because they believe that the informal waste picker are the one that throw trashes in the maybe canal or gutter, any place. So Lagos State decided that no. When they brought in PSP, they said they don't want to see us. Then 2018, I decided to organize what we call waste pickers. 2018, 2019, especially 2018, we were so disturbed. They victimized us. Many of our boys died because some of them will run and enter trucks and a vehicle will just kill them. So I said, okay, let us come together with the waste pickers. Let us organize ourselves and see how we can talk to the government for them to recognize us. That is how we started 2018. And after that, it took me also to other, because when I know that the majority of the waste pickers are from my brother from North, so I have to go to northern part to see their leaders. I went to Katsina State, went to Kano, Abuja, Kaduna to discuss with others, our big dealers there. They were majoring on metals. Then I told them, all these boys that pick on the road, pick on the street, I want to organize them. Can you people back me up? They say yes. And that was what prompted us to start the waste picking organization. So from there, I started to do the advocacy. I first went to Lagos State House of Assembly. That was 2020 after the pandemic. Because that pandemic even showed them what I was telling them come to pass, that nobody knew us. And when the pandemic program happened, the lockdown, it affected our members, and there was no palliative. That's how 2021, many of them will come together and form the Association of Scrap and Waste Picker of Nigeria.
Their struggles, their success has resonated with hearts beyond the dumps to encourage more women to be involved in waste picking on the streets.
The goal for Recyclers was to help people capture value from their waste. So I moved back to Nigeria and built Recyclers up from just one bicycle, going into communities in Lagos, low-income communities, and interacting with people and letting them know that their waste actually had value.
So what we do basically at Reswaye is we focus on women and young people, and we let them know the possibilities of earning through recycling to get sustainable wealth.
Organizations like Recyclers and Reswaye are doing this on a scale. They're encouraging waste pickers, although they don't call them waste pickers, they call them subscribers, or their women who go on the streets to pick recyclables and sell to this organization in exchange for cash incentive.
Our Reswaye women and youth, we largely don't call them waste pickers because we feel that that is a derogatory name for them, because what they're doing is actually promoting health and taking care of the environment and also earning from it.
You have a person, a woman, collecting so much waste and making money that she could use to then make her life more safe and more dignified.
They make a lot of money. These women, some of which are single mothers, make as much as 700,000 naira in a quarter from picking up recyclables and selling them to these organizations.
Mi ṣe máa ń rí ike ó depend bí bá ṣe kó sí ni mo ṣe máa ń rí. Mo lè gba 400,000, 500,000. Highest tí mo gbà ní 700,000 for 4 months. Ike tí mo ti ń ṣàyẹ̀wò ló jẹ́ kí n ní ilé sí Ifọ̀ tí mò ń ṣe very soon máa tó kó lọ bẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àṣẹ Ọlọ́run.
I started doing it during the COVID time. I lost my job. I go around to seek for a job. I couldn't. Then my friend just introduced it to me. I'm like, continue. It can be a job to me. I even like it more than the job. Back then, I was receiving 23,000 per month. But now, I can make 70 to 80,000 per month. So, it was a challenge. I remember when Buhari was there, Buhari said there's no, people complain there's no work. You should find work for yourself. So I found this picking for myself.
Wow, that's profound.
But the fight for a better future is not just theirs alone. This fight is not for them alone. There are other people that are fighting with them. Organizations like the Fair Plastic Alliance are stepping in. Fair Plastic Alliance in the past has organized medical outreach programs in Lagos, Ogun, and Abuja to reach out to about 3,000 waste workers because we believe that healthcare is a fundamental right. By providing medical care to waste pickers, we are breaking down barriers and ensuring their well-being and dignity. In 2022, we partnered with Subsidy Vibes to provide 1 year of free health insurance for 500 waste pickers in Lagos. This has given waste pickers a voice. It has given them the insight to understand that they are seen and they are not in the fight alone. The understanding of this has made them to keep pushing. FBRA is also working to ensure a better livelihood of waste pickers, which is why they did not hesitate to partner with us as the executive producers of this project.
The Food and Beverage Recycling Alliance was set up as the producer responsibility organization for the waste value chain, and it plays a very critical role because in Nigeria, the adaptation of an industry-led model for extended producer responsibility that places a responsibility on producers, manufacturers, to be responsible for the life cycle of their products. And then FBRA serves as the producer responsibility organization to drive that in the ecosystem. And that role is critical because these producers place products in the market and want to ensure that they are managing the post-consumer packaging as well as the industrial packaging. So the efforts from the PROs like FBRA, which is focused on the food and beverage sector, helps to drive the collection and recovery of the post-consumer packaging material from the environment. Our first encounter with the waste pickers was on the 1st of March 2021 during the Waste Pickers Day, and we were invited to speak at one of their programs. During that program, I did a presentation on what the FBRA stands for, and I had a lot of interactions with the waste pickers. At that program, I realized that there was a need for us to start looking at the needs of the waste pickers because they play a critical role. That same year, we partnered with the Fair Plastic Alliance, where we were able to train over 3,000 waste pickers across Lagos, Ogun, and Abuja. And specific trainings that were given to the waste pickers include safety and health trainings. We also had a medical outreach, because we had identified that those were some of the needs of the waste pickers at that time. Further to the initial training with Fair Plastic Alliance, in the year 2023, we partnered with GIZ to launch a collectors development program where we're able to train new waste pickers that are coming into the industry. We're also able to provide them with collection bags, jumbo bags, to aid their collection and storage of their recyclables in clusters. Based on all these activities we have had with the waste pickers in the last 2-3 years, we also knew that we had to go further to do a research and a study to have a better understanding of the terrain in which they play in, and also identify ways to support them adequately to integrate them into the ecosystem. This study was launched in 2023 during the last quarter, and the aim of the study was to identify the waste pickers using a pilot in Lagos State, understand their needs, identify ways of integrating them into the ecosystem, and establishing ways of adequate support that they can get for us to be able to ensure we have premium collection through segregation at the source, and also to dignify the labor that they do within the ecosystem.
LOMA has always supported us in delivering our medical outreaches to waste pickers, especially at the dump. They are working to integrate them into the formal sector. Indeed, waste pickers are not alone.
Well, since last year, specifically in the second quarter, we started enumeration of waste pickers in Lagos. So far, we've enumerated about 5,000 of them. Just like with the street sweepers, there's 17,000 street sweepers. Interestingly, we estimate about the same number of waste pickers throughout the state. And with these street sweepers, what we're doing from this month is enrolling them in the Lagos State health insurance program. They already have life, accident and life insurance, but we're now enrolling them in the basic health insurance program to ensure that they are able to go to the primary health centers and general hospitals and enjoy good health care. And we believe that this is essential for the waste pickers as well.
In this project, we have collected data from at least 50 waste pickers in each of the 20 local governments in Lagos, both at the dump site and on the street, and even with smaller aggregators. We have also had various focus group discussions with the waste pickers, painting a vivid picture of their struggles and aspirations. I mean, I cannot tell about their struggles. We need to ask them to know their struggles, informing policies and shaping a future where waste pickers are not just seen, but valued.
So I would love to have people working in waste have safe conditions, because that's how people will know that, look, this is actually a good way to work. Once we can do that, how can we ensure that they are part of the narrative? How can we ensure that we are listening to them and letting their needs, their wants, what they actually need to be successful? How can we make sure that we are doing that? And then also, how do we ensure that they are also making a little bit of a portion of the value of the waste? too many times, you see that the people that are making the profits in the waste value chain are people down, the value chain that are adding value as recyclers. But the people that are actually doing the hard, difficult work, they don't make as much out of the value. So how can we align that and make it fair for everyone?
How does waste picking affect your physical and mental health?
You will not even think waking up in the morning that I'm going to get injury or this or that. It was when you get to work, you will face that thing. That you've been caught or you got accident.
So that edge of the thing, I think I show my interview, is recently, it's can that bite my hand when I want to pick it. So from here, it can open to another thing.
The challenge there is that, sometimes you may see yourself far away to where you are keeping something. When you are piling it to carry from one place to another, it's also a challenge.
But then I want to come to Bagan, to pay Ruti Pombe, waking up. I want Ghana to tell you, Mama Funya, what you do this? Because more, we don't separate that one.
Okay. So transportation is another challenge.
All we need is capital. If there's money, you can even go to a company and register there.
The message I have for policymakers, for businesses, and for the public is to realize that waste pickers are very important. If we were to have all waste pickers in our cities stop for just 1 week, we will then wake up and see how important they are. They are working silently, quietly, sometimes in the middle of the night, just to make our lives better and to make our lives safer.
We have where we stay here. So Monday to Friday, then Saturday I will go. I'll come back on Monday. We don't close here. Some people do morning, some people do night. So this is shifting work.
So what we can do for them is to make sure that we as policymakers, we as NGOs come together and provide laws, provide policies that shape how waste pickers can be treated at work. That standards that employers are held to, all across the country, to make sure that if you are engaging someone as a waste picker, this is the minimum standard. This is what is required. So I think if we can do that, if we can make it something that we can all commit to, it's going to make everybody's lives better.
If you are living as a tenant in a place, and the landlord will be querying you, that's what I'm facing. I don't see a space, a good space to keep plastics.
So we are suffering, I'm telling you. It doesn't give to what they are saying. Even there was a time, even my landlady, she have to pack my. I went to come and pick. So before I came back, she has connived with mother-in-law and pack it and throw it away. And asked me to which malam? She threw it and scattered it and she returned and look for a space. That is not a dumping. She said that is not a dumping site. I should go and look for a place.
We are looking at partnership with the waste management authorities, like in Lagos State specifically, LOMA. How do we provide infrastructure, collection centers closer to the people, so that they can actually access these facilities, these services? And that's why we've partnered with LOMA to set up collection centers across different strategic locations. So not just communities, but some schools, some strategic areas that we're looking at putting collection centers in place. We're also looking at a project, Lekki Waste Free City, where we'll use that as a pilot, as a model that can be replicated across Lagos and also across Nigeria, to ensure that there's a place you can walk into and you have all the infrastructure in place. You have an ecosystem that can work within that small community. You can test the model and then you can replicate it across different locations.
We have a plan to establish infrastructure systems and processes to ensure that recyclables no longer end up in the waste stream. In order to do that, we're establishing community recycling centers around the state. So, our first initial target is to have 57, one in every local government area. Now, this is an open space, which will be a hub for recyclables within that area. So the waste pickers can use that space. We can give them sections to use to store their materials, and even for off-takers to come to that location. So that takes them off the road. Part of the safety issues is that they're operating on setbacks and along the road where they're not supposed to be. And there's actually no regulation for them to follow. So we are a regulatory authority, and what we're doing is just as we've done with waste management. With waste management, you can't just buy a truck and start taking waste from people's houses. The reason we have regulations is to make sure that you have an organized system that works efficiently. So same thing with waste pickers and other recyclers, because there are also recyclers who are active in the business, but there's room for everyone. So the vision is that the waste pickers will be the last mile from the point of generation to the recycler, then from the recycler to the off-taker. Now, in doing that, we need to have spaces for them. So the community recycling center is one space. Then also recycling depots, or let's call them material recovery facilities, where we can stockpile large quantities of recyclables. We want the waste pickers to be in uniform, to be identifiable, to have ID cards, and to be assigned to specific areas. And we've established a health and safety unit at Loma that does training on safety for the 17,000 street sweepers. We're also going to do the same for waste pickers. So it's not just going to be a question of distributing. And by the way, in distributing PPEs, we don't necessarily have the budget to do everything, but we have partners that do that. Just as with the street sweepers, the uniforms you see them wearing, if you look at the back, you see logos of various corporate organizations. So there are a lot of people ready to do the same for waste pickers. So we'll make sure that they have PPEs, they have uniforms, reflective jackets because they're operating. We're also looking for how to provide vehicles, sustainable vehicles, by the way, electric or maybe just bicycles that they can use in moving those materials.
We also want every dump site in Lagos State to have a mini clinic, mobile clinic, because there's a lot of accident in the dump site. And also there are women working with us at the dump site. If they can have a daycare for the women, so that when they bring their children, they will just put it there and go and do their work. At the end of the job, they will go and pick their children and go home. What we need is training, number 1. 2, health insurance. 3, PPE to all the waste pickers on that APR. 4, if there's any grant or anywhere, because we want to form a cooperative society, because individually no bank will give us money. So we are trying to form a cooperative after the Loma integration of the waste picker into the system. We will form Lagos State Cooperative Society so that we can access loan for our members. Our members have children, brilliant children, and if they can give scholarship for those children of our members. So those are the things we are advocating, and it's into the policy this year, policy of the EPR.
So the goal of this project, the goal of this documentary, is to really shine a light on the project, which is to interview as many waste pickers as possible in Lagos to see what their challenges are, what do they need as waste pickers, and to see how policy can be provided, and also how Fair Plastic Alliance and its partners can gather and galvanize capital to help to solve these needs. So we hope that vulnerable waste pickers, people that there are people that they are working on the dump site with so much waste. They don't have, PPE. They are wearing slippers. Some of them are even going with barefoot. They can easily get hurt. And we've seen a case of somebody that was hurt, and because he didn't have healthcare, he died. And these are things that we don't want to happen. We want a situation where people that are working in dump sites, even though it's a difficult job, they are safe. They have access to healthcare when they need it, and they are also confident that when they are too old to work, they can have a good and dignified old age.
So those are some of the ideas and initiatives we're looking at in the future, and we're also trying to put in some creativity and innovation, ensuring that there's also a lot of advocacy, awareness creation, advertisement. We want to put it in front of people, just like we do with other things we do in life, sports, entertainment. How can we put waste out there so that people really know that there's a need for all of us to work together, because we cannot do it alone. The government cannot do it alone. The industry cannot do it alone, but we all need to work together collectively to achieve this.
We've listened to them, we've heard their voices. They've told us that they need things like, personal protective equipment. They need health insurance. They need an opportunity to have a safe and dignified livelihood. So at Fair Plastic Alliance, we're going to combine all the requests of waste pickers, and we're going to work with policymakers to shape policy. We're also going to go a step further, and we would like to partner with interested organizations that would help us to make the lives of waste pickers better by providing them with healthcare, PPE, and other things that would make them have a better life.
The story of Lagos Waste Pickers is a testament to the human spirit, a story braided with hardship and hope, resilience and unity, a story that demands attention, a call for action, a reminder that even in the waste, there is value, there's potential, there's a story waiting to be told.